Two things that woke me all the way up in prison while I was finishing up a 16-year, 11-month sentence after originally being sentenced to 144 years in prison were these two things right here. One of the most surreal moments that I had while incarcerated that woke me up and convinced me that I needed to get home, because I want to be clear, when you're a 19-year-old kid that gets sentenced to 144 years originally, you're not really thinking about your freedom. You're thinking about survival at best. But one day when I was sitting down playing chess with one of the old timers, an OG that I had taken a liking to and looked up to him actually as a mentor, he was really positive. He was 63 years old, and it organically came up in conversation one day while we were playing chess how long he had been locked up. And to put it simple, he had been locked up since he was 18 years old. That meant that for over 40 years, I can't even do the math that fast, he had been incarcerated. He did not really get to experience any of an adult life because he had got locked up at 18. And I want to say this too. He never once complained. He was one of the most positive, motivational, inspirational individuals on the inside that helped everybody, was respected as well. He wasn't nothing to play with, but he did his time like a man. And when he told me that, there was a look that he gave me that just reminded me that I do have a chance to go home. Another surreal moment that woke me up while I was in prison that convinced me I need to go home immediately, or at least fight for my freedom, is when they started separating individuals based on their time while I was on Sussex 2 State Prison. A lot of the individuals that I was hanging out with, having conversations with, working out with, whatever it was, right, eating with, these were my homeboys. These were my family to this day, might I add. But never once did we really have conversation about length of sentences, how much time you got. Again, it's just not something you really did when I was doing time. And when they started separating the buildings on the compound, they started separating people by the length of time on their sentences. And individuals with like 0 to 10 years, for instance, were put in building 4. Building 3 was still like segregation and like an overflow for building 2, which was like 20 years to 10 years. And then building 1 was basically 20 years or more, or life sentences. And what I want to tell you is, when they started separating us, I was placed in a totally separate building than the rest of my homeboys who were moved to building 1. Literally, all of my homeboys were serving life sentences. I had no clue, because every day we would talk about freedom, visitation, being with our, whatever it was that we would talk about. And the whole time, a lot of these brothers to this day, they don't even have a chance to go home. That woke me up. And you might have a moment or two, and if you don't mind, share it in the comments, because it might keep somebody from going to prison in the first place. We don't glorify prison. We just educate people about it, man. Stay free. Peace.